Cue the spotlight, shine them bright. Gonna have a brand new show tonight. With glitz and glam on the marquee. Perhaps a Tony nominee. Stars beam brightly, see them glow. Sell out nightly, SRO. It's time to applaud the Broadway Beat. Stars beam brightly, see them glow. In the footlights of a show. Life is sweet on the world's most famous street.
Tickets, please.
Take a seat.
Cue the band.
And have your feet to the rhythm of the Broadway Beat. The Broadway Beat. Broadway Beat.
Hello, I'm Richard Ridge, and welcome to Broadway Beat, our behind-the-scenes look at the very best of what the New York theater has to offer. This week we meet up with the cast of director Bartlett Sher's stunning new production of the Rodgers and Hammerstein classic South Pacific, which has just opened to rave reviews at Lincoln Center's Vivian Beaumont Theater. It stars Kelly O'Hara, Matthew Morrison, and making his Broadway debut, Paulo Zot. We'll also drop by Sardi's to help kick off the 25th anniversary celebration of the musical Nonsense, where the show's creator, Dan Goggin, got his very own caricature. But let's start things off at the Eugene O'Neill Theater for Sherie Rene Scott's one-night-only concert entitled You May Now Worship Me, which was a benefit for the Phyllis Newman's Women's Health Initiative for the Actors Fund of America. The evening, which raised over $200,000, was conceived and written by Ms. Scott and writer Dick Scanlon. It was directed by Tony Award winner Michael Mayer.
Are you ready for it? I now give to you the great gift that was given me by a sage old rabbi. Well, he was definitely a Jew, probably. And he said to me, he said, Sherie Rene Scott, always carry on your person 2 pieces of paper, 1 in each pocket. On the first, write, I am a speck of dust. Beautiful, no? Very meek, shall inherit, very Amish country. And on the other, the world was created for me. Very Manhattan.
It's original, it's totally surprising, and it's a journey of a woman from becoming a young girl, coming to New York, going through everything, and becoming a woman. That makes it sound trite, but it's not at all trite. You've never seen anything like it. It should go someplace and play all the time. She's an amazing talent, as were all her cohorts. So it's a terrific evening, terrific. Plus, we raised a lot of money, $200,000, you know. And as you know, Broadway Cares has donated over $4 million so far to the Women's Health Initiative. And it's our 13th year. Happy 13th, lucky 13.
I thought it was one of the best shows like that I have ever seen in my life. I have no idea how she had the time and the energy to put that together while she's been doing The Little Mermaid. I know she did it once before, but just to keep it as fresh, her timing, her voice, the writing, everything about that show was absolutely top-notch. I was in awe of the entire performance. I worship her.
I don't have any philosophy. Why do I know what I know? I see the world in a coffee cup, and when I drink it down, there I go.
Well, what's so cool is that Sherie is in the show. Sherie and Dick are really talking about a kind of spirituality and how you recognize where spirituality is, where it comes from, how is God in your life. It also talks about prejudice. It talks about AIDS. It talks about America in this way that is maybe less than flattering. And so what Tom Viola has done that is so inspiring to all of us is that in the face of spectacular prejudice and repression in this country, he's managed to forge this organization which does great work and from a really pure place. And so to be doing this show in and for the Broadway community that celebrates the very best of what we are as Americans at the same time as it's being critical, in a way, of the very worst of us was, you can't buy that kind of experience. It happens, every now and then, and this was one of those nights where it all just coalesced, and it was very moving.
We would spend hours, really countless hours over the years, I'd have to say, hundreds and hundreds of hours at her apartment, and exactly right. And we would talk a lot about her childhood, and also, oddly, I would talk about, it would be sort of conversations. I've done similar things with people where most of the talking is from them, which is fine too, but it would be sort of, and what I think ended up happening, Richie, was that we began to develop a common aesthetic of a way to tell story and to move people and to present, in some cases, political ideas in a way that the audience isn't inured to them, because the moment the audience senses a political message, they don't want to receive it, so you have to come in another way. So I think we developed a common aesthetic in a very organic way. So it was partially actual information about her background and then information about who we were as people and as artists to help figure out what the shape of this evening would be.
Well, it's Phyllis Newman Women's Health Initiative, and I'm a woman, and I know lots of women, and the show had it was hopefully very funny, but it also had some very, some real issues in it. And I was happy that the money went for a woman's cause. And, this was, Broadway Cares gave us, Michael Mayer, the director, became attached to our show just a few months ago. And so to have this opportunity to get the show up on its feet with Michael Mayer as a director was invaluable to us. So it was beneficial. We got to have him work with us, and it was crazy because I do 8 shows a week when I wasn't in rehearsal, and but then we got to have it be for a great cause. So it wasn't, we would have to do a workshop anyway of it, and this was just a grand, high pressure, nerve-wracking workshop. Now, actually, because if you were Amish, you would be humble about it. It takes one to know one, and I'm Amish. Technically, I'm Mennonite. Yes, that is right. This is a one Mennonite show. It is. Technically, I'm half Mennonite, technically, because you know what I found out? I think it's the lower half. Because you can take the girl out of the Mennonites, but you cannot take the Mennonites out of that girl. That's right.
The musical sensation Nonsense first opened off-Broadway in 1985. It ran for a record-breaking 10 years and has had over 8,000 worldwide productions. To kick off the show's 25th anniversary celebration, we dropped by Sardi's, where the musical's creator, Dan Goggin, got his very own caricature, and many of the show's alumni were on hand to help celebrate.
Danny with this.
This is like the ultimate thing, and the way that I really know that this is the ultimate is everything good that's happened to me over the years, I'll tell my mom, and she's like, oh, that's great. Oh, that's great. I told her I was getting a caricature at Sardi's, and it was like, wow. So this is really just the most incredible event that is so exciting.
Well, take me back. This is to celebrate the 25th anniversary of Nonsense. Think of that number, 25. What does it mean to you?
It means that I'm older than I wish I was. But it's unbelievable to me. And all the shows just keep continuing to go. And we just came back from doing a Nonsensations. We're going out to do Nonsense with Cindy Williams, then one with Lee Merriweather, and a tour with Sally Struthers. So it just keeps going, and it's just the most fun ride I've ever had in my life.
Now tell me about how many productions have been done around the world.
We figure, counting now, that there have been about 8,000 in every language imaginable, and so we figured out we have 40,000 nuns.
Yeah, I guess I could tell you. Marilyn Farina, it wasn't during the production, but we were doing it in Boston. She and I shared an apartment, and there was the theater, and there was a little Irish bar, and then there was our apartment. And on the way home from the production, we would be dressed, and she'd be dressed in a full nun's habit, and she never wore anything underneath it because it was so warm on stage, So we'd go to this Irish bar, and we'd try to hide in the back because the bar would go crazy when we come in to start ordering vodka, martinis, So one time, the people were catcalling to her, so she flashed them. And we ran out of the bar. So I think
you get free drinks all night.
No, I wish so. Yeah, they thought we could turn their water into wine, but we didn't do that. So
1984 or 85, and Danny was looking for someone to play Sister Amnesia, and Felton Smith, who was the choreographer for Danny. I just worked with Felton, and he recommended me to Danny, and I went to Danny's apartment and sang for him, and he then put a nun's habit on me, and I walked out a nun. And
the rest is history.
The rest is history. And then we went to Baldwin School, and then down into the village, and
you ran at the Douglas Fairbanks for so many years, right? The show ran.
Right. It went from Baldwin School and workshop, and went down to Cherry Lane, and then it went over to it was called the Sheridan Square Playhouse on 7th Avenue, and that's when the show really took off. And I was with it for like a year down there, and then we moved up to Douglas Fairbanks, and then it ran forever.
Audience have always fell in love with this show, but they fell in love with your character. Why do you think that is?
She just loves life, and she looks through life through rose-colored glasses, and and I think that's why. She's just a very special character, and I just adored playing her. I just loved bringing her to life every night when we did it. Very special.
A story or something that maybe happened during a performance or something that you remember during the run that you would tell us?
Oh, yeah. There was one night that I was doing the puppet number and went out, and my mind went totally blank, and I could not remember any of the words as Amnesia or as the puppet. And then a couple of words would come to my mind, and then I'd do the puppet as a ventriloquist, and then I'd lose it again. So basically this whole 5-minute number ended up being la 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 la. And I came off stage just soaking wet and the band was like wide-eyed. And that afterwards I met somebody who had brought people to come, and I apologized that I was just mortified that the whole number I went up on, and I just kept going. And they said, "Oh, you did?" So that was a memory for me. But we had many wonderful memories of people coming to see the show, and even now, this many years later, I get emails and requests about the show, and it's from all over. So it's been a journey.
Think about our solemn vows. There are 3 of us as vows. Poverty, chastity, and obedience.
What the hell you trying to do? Make me go deaf?
Oh, don't be silly, sister. You know you can't go deaf. I mean, everyone can say, nuns don't have ears.
My experience with Nonsense. First of all, I want to say salud to the great God Goggin. I love you with all my heart. What it means to me, Nonsense, I got my equity card at Nonsense, did the national tour with magnificent women, got insurance, got unemployment, got all of the stuff that you get as a real equity person. It was the most amazing experience for me. It embraced me. I learned a lot. I love everyone here, honestly. I have worked with practically everyone here, and it's just a great, great high to be here with everyone. It's just magnificent. My heart is felling, as a nice Italian girl that I am. It's felling.
Really hearing people laugh. People say to me, don't you love, hearing your music and stuff like that? And that's very nice. But there's nothing like hearing an audience laugh and feeling you had a part of it. And I've always said that writing for me is the homework, not the fun part. The fun part is going and being a part of putting the show together and playing theater. That and hearing those people laugh every night. It just uplifts everybody. Even our casts and our band and people like that will say, it's so great to come to work because even if you've had a bad day, all that laughter just lifts you up, you know. It really works.
We just can't kick this nonsense, so on with the show.
You're all hired. One of the most beloved musicals of all time, Rodgers and Hammerstein's classic South Pacific, is back on Broadway at Lincoln Center's Vivian Beaumont Theater in a glorious new production by director Bartlett Sher. It stars Kelly O'Hara as Nellie Forbush, Matthew Morrison as Lieutenant Cable, and making his Broadway debut, Paolo Zott as Emile DeBeck. The production is open to rave reviews and is now set for an open-ended run. We celebrated with the cast on opening night.
I didn't know it very well at all. I actually have never seen it on stage, and I knew the movie, but I never really liked the movie. But what I did was Andre gave it to me and said, really take a look at this, and I reread it, and when I reread it, it was like, are you kidding me? This is the most brilliant thing I've ever seen, or ever read, just to read it. Never mind how good the music already was. And so it seemed like it had so much wonderful stuff in it that it was hard not to give it a shot.
The relevance, it's so relevant today. This was written in 1949, but it could have been written yesterday.
Yeah.
Did that amaze you when you read it again and started staging it?
Yes, that was very clear to me when I read it again. I knew that Logan was very influenced by Stanislavski and all that, so the scenes were very rich. The reality of the scenes were rich, and they didn't have a lot of really intense localism to them, so that was fun. At the same time, being somebody who grew up in the 60s and 70s, I've been through all these military experiences. My brother was at the Naval Academy, and suddenly I was finding myself in the middle of these things that I felt like I knew differently than maybe they knew it then. And I could look through this long telescope over those decades and go, there's a lot to learn from this show.
We started with the Follies and things that were actually dance steps and whatnot, and we gave them that vocabulary. And then we really, just Bart and I we had a really great collaboration on, let's treat it like a scene, let's musicalize it, now Chris, you take it, now Bart, you take it, and Chris take it. And it was a really, really fantastic blend, I thought, of how to work with someone at that level. just completely meshing. So, yeah.
What was the first number you worked on? What was the last number you worked on?
The first was, I think it was Bloody Mary, actually, with the guys, and them jumping over the hill and trying to work out what that would be like and whatnot. And then the last was Watch That Man, because there's so many elements in that, with the water and her hair and the shampoo and the foam and the stage. There were so many elements of trying to just nail everything in that and tell a story, but also satisfy the audience and the washing and all that kind of stuff. So that took us quite a bit.
Oh, yeah, I got to play Luther Billis. He's a wheeler dealer who's not very good at wheeling or dealing, and he's got an enormous crush on Nellie Forbush, but it's unrequited, and nothing he does can make her love him. But he does something very brave at the end of the show, and just for her love, and just to see her happy. And I think that's very special. I love the journey that his character takes.
I knew all the songs of the show. I didn't really know the storyline per se, but it's amazing to go out there and, I mean, the greatest form of art is, for me, is the ability to make art ask questions. And I feel like the show does, it asks so many questions about the world we live in, about war, about racism, and to be able to kind of be one of the people who is a catalyst for that is awesome. And it's amazing to have people really think and really try to figure out things for themselves.
I feel like I'm the queen of the world. I just can't believe that this much goodness has been brought into my life. I'm so fortunate. I'm so fortunate. Tonight when we were finishing the show, I just kind of looked around at the flowers in my room and at my friends in the show, and the realization that I just did a show on Broadway and I just turned 50. How good is that?
Congratulations. A Rodgers and Hammerstein show at Lincoln Center and turning 50.
Can you believe that? Oh my God. And I'm in love with the love of my life and married to him too. So, you know, this is about as good as life gets, I think.
That's great. Well, tell me what this experience has been like with working on this show and this wonderful role. Talk about her.
Oh my gosh. This has been truly the most incredible experience of my life. Every single day in rehearsals was like taking a master class. I've only done community theater in Hawaii. I've never done professional theater. And to come here and be surrounded in a room with actors like Kelly and Paolo and Matthew and Danny Burstein, who is my rock star, and to hear them read the script, the way that they read it was so intimate, was so not what I was expecting. And I learned so much from watching them and listening to them and tried to absorb as much as I possibly could with all of this. And then working with the orchestra, which was the time of my life. I have never sung with an orchestra ever. So to be able to stand on a stage and sing these songs, these incredibly beautiful, moving songs, and to do that with a 30-piece orchestra, I felt like my feet weren't touching the ground. I mean, it's been the most wonderful experience of my life. And I mean that. I'm not trying to be cute about it. This cast is incredible. They are amazing. We are a family. We love each other. And they lift me. They lift me every day just to be with them every day. And I learn from them every single day. And Bart Scher, our director, is brilliant. I mean, really not enough, I think, has been said about him and how he has coddled the show and all of us actors in it and done everything he can to not only be as true and right to the story and the music, but to make all of the actors look their best and sound their best and be their best and feel their best. For somebody to put us in that situation and lift us up onto that stage is just amazing. He's brilliant.
Now I'm alone, still dreaming of paradise, still set in that paradise. Once really wasn't
Yeah, it's a great role. I think it's the perfect role for me in the moment. And Emil de Beck is this wonderful guy, exactly, literally as the song said. But not only that, it's a gift for a performer to be able to sing these songs. Some Enchanted Evening and This Nearly Was Mine, especially that gives this intimacy to the performer. And it's a great experience. I cannot imagine not doing that anymore.
And talk about playing opposite your leading lady, Kelly O'Hara.
Oh my God, Kelly is so adorable. I'm totally in love with Kelly, and from the first rehearsal, we felt very connected, and she was helping me all the time because she's so experienced on Broadway, and It's just wonderful. Every day we go on stage and we discover new things. So she's a great partner to work with.
She's my baby, I'm her cow. I'm her booby, she's my track. I am caught and I don't want to run, 'cause I'm having so much fun with Honey Bun.
How well did you know the show before you started working on it?
I didn't. I had seen the movie as a child, and I've never seen a live performance, even still. I've never seen it in high school or community theater or anywhere. No concert version. So I came to it with brand new eyes, and the first time I read the script, I had no idea it would move me the way that it did, and then I knew that I had to play it.
Well, talk about your Nellie, because she's different than anybody I've ever seen before. I mean, so when you read her, what did you want to bring from the page to your performance?
Well, she's a real person, for one thing, and I knew the person. My grandmother, my mom's mother, born and raised in Arkansas. She's no longer with us, but she was a beautiful woman, but she was carefully taught a lot of things. And I brought Mimi to her. That's all I know. All I know is that I know this person inside and out.
Because there's a heart and soul to your Nellie that I had never seen before, and there's so much of her inside you that, you know, comes out during the course of the show.
Well, I feel almost like I've been given a chance to make some changes earlier for Mimi, who's my grandmother. I feel like I've been given a chance to show that a person can change, and I think I'm only able to do that if I make her a real person that you can identify with and you can see that people can change. If she's a character on a stage, you don't identify with her that if she's just a person that, or just something written down, a cartoon character, but if she's a person that you could maybe get to know or understand, you can see her journey. And I think that's really important when we're talking about race, especially today.